It's another day of serious mourning in Nigeria, just like we had with the Saraki case. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but once again, by the time Buhari is done with that country, the youth will be massacred, buried, ignored, no respect for the youth, but the cabal will continue to enjoy immunity to escape from every kind of charge that they may have, all the cases that you have had pending for years. By the time Buhari, who is sick, and Oshimanjo, who is incompetent and unavailable, by the time they are finished with us, if we survive, every looter, every person accused of terrorism, everybody will be released, free, immunity guaranteed. And that's why, by the time, if you like, don't vote for me in 2019, so that I bring on this revolution that we need completely to get rid of these people, to punish them the way they are escaping now. Rawlings prefers cabal to me. Look at the latest case. Senator Ndume has been freed of his terrorism charges. And Justice Gabriel Kolawole, mark that name. All of these people, mark the name, because the corruption permeates the system. Justice Kolawole freed him. The justice said the prosecution failed to link the defendant with the allegations and dismissed the case against him of 4 criminal counts and violations of Nigeria's terrorism law. Listen to what the judge said. According to the judge, the prosecution failed to bring prominent personalities mentioned by the defendant to testify in the matter. The prosecution failed to bring prominent personalities mentioned. The judge also said that the prosecution failed to include the statements of the mentioned personalities. What is the Ndume case, first of all? The Ndume case started since 2011 under Jonathan. Imagine this delay of justice. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is how they handle a case of terrorism sponsorship in Nigeria. BBC News. This is the BBC headline from that time. Nigerian Senator Ali Ndume linked to Boko Haram. They said, Ali Ndume has been questioned by secret police since Monday night. He denied charges of intimidation and breach of trust after an alleged Boko Haram spokesman, Konduga, said Mr. Ndume had paid him to send threatening text messages. This is the kind of case we had, that Ndume paid him to send threatening text messages on behalf of Boko Haram. What was Ndume's defense at the time? Now, who is Ndume's lawyer? Ricky Tarfa. Everybody knows Ricky Tarfa. At this time, Ricky Tarfa attempted to bring up prima facie case that there is no case, so I don't have to defend him. You know, when they say prima facie, it's like, I'm not a lawyer, but it means there's no case at all. We don't even have to open up our defense. This is what he tried in 2011. At that time, the case was opened in 2011 in a different judge, 4 counts, and the government argued that it's a 4 counts case, 4 criminal counts, and breach of Nigeria's terrorism laws. That's how strong the government argued that the case was. And they opened the case and they started prosecuting or going ahead with the case. Next thing is, this is from Punch from 2012. Senator told Boko Haram to threaten Adoke SSS. This is how strong the case against Ndume is. Jonathan never arrested a single sponsor of Boko Haram. Buhari came in. They are playing games. Boko Haram are in Sambisa. We saw the video of them. I've always been mentioning this over time, that there were 40,000 Boko Haram terrorists. The Jonathan government's time, we heard of some terrorists being killed. In Buhari's time, we don't even hear any numbers being killed, and then they claim they are gone. Boko Haram now brought out a video last Eid, showed over 3,000 members in Sambisa forest. When them Buhari were lying to you. I had written articles recently stating it, that we had up to 40,000 members. Even if 30,000 are left, where are they? I talked about the fact that when the Buhari government raided Sambisa forest, they gave a 2-week lull in which Boko Haram were allowed to relocate. Boko Haram proved this thing. Boko Haram brought out a video showing what? At least 3,000 to 4,000 members praying Eid in Sambisa forest. This is the country we are in. This is what we are going through. Guess what happened right after? Buratai, who Buhari said the army chiefs are going to relocate to the northeast. All BS. Rather, they were patrolling Kaduna, patrolling Onisha. When people blocked their way, they massacred the whole youth and secretly buried them instead of being in Borno where they were supposed to be. After Boko Haram brought out the video, guess what Buratai says? Buratai says 700 Boko Haram surrendered to us. Before then, he never heard of that kind of thing. We never knew Boko Haram were plenty like that, or they claimed it wasn't. Immediately, Boko Haram showed video, he said 700. This is the country. This is the games we are playing. May God help us to survive till 2019. Because this revolution has to start sooner. This cabal, these people, they just have to leave. All of them. Let's continue with how Ndume is got off the case. So this is Senator Ndume sending threat messages. They said, State Security on Wednesday told Abuja Federal Court that Senator Ali Ndume asked a self-confessed spokesman of the sect, Boko Haram, Ali Konduga, aka Zawahiri, to call and threaten Attorney General of the Federation, Justice Adoke. What were they threatening the Attorney General about? They were threatening him that if a certain political decision of the governor is not made in Borno, that there will be mayhem and chaos in Borno. These are the type of messages. Ndume's defense was that he's part of the Presidential Peace Committee. That is totally separate from the kind of messages that he was accused of sending. He was accused of giving Konduga Adoke's number, Attorney General. Attorney General has nothing to do with the Terrorism or Peace Committee. Giving Adoke Attorney General, Attorney General is the one who brings judgments in cases of, gubernatorial election types of things. Of giving SSS number, threatening, and sending threatening messages to help Boko Haram. Because Boko Haram, you have two arms. You have the political Boko Haram and you have the other one. The political is the one many of us paid attention to, and our NGO ends was established because of the political Boko Haram. After the bombing of Sabongari, you have a certain event and then Boko Haram bombs. This is what happens. You have an event where Boko Haram is bombing and creating chaos, and you are seeing bombing going on, but that is happening because they are influencing some political decision going on. And that's what Ndume was charged with. They said they checked Ndume's cell phone record, saw the cell phone communication with Konduga, and all of that. Vanguard 2012. Vanguard was talking about the case. And when Vanguard was talking about the case, Vanguard said, the witness said Sambo and Adoke were alleged to have had contacts with the sects. However, instead of inviting them for questioning, as we did in the case of Ndume, the service decided to investigate Sambo. Sambo is former vice president, and Adoke with our statecraft. What is statecraft? This is how Nigeria operates. Statecraft. There is nothing such that exists. Now, because they still do not want to bring Adoke to testify against Ndume, that's the Buhari. It's Buhari's prosecution that's refusing to bring in Sambo, former vice president, because he's giving him immunity, and bringing Adoke to testify against Ndume. So this is the same thing happened with Saraki's case and all these cases. They refuse to bring in their own witnesses, so they just toss the case. Same thing, then Buhari supported this, did not bring in these witnesses. Konduga had alleged that Ndume assisted the sect to carry out certain terrorist activities in Maiduguri. On account of that, we invited the accused person, this is SSS talking in court, we invited the accused person and detailed some of my case officers to witness his voluntary statement on November 21, 2011. The witness further told the court it was the accused senator who gave the telephone number of Mohammed Adoke to Boko Haram. The witness said the number was used to bargain a governorship petition filed by the People's Democratic Party in Borno State. That's what the witness said the number was used for. Izzy said Konduga had testified that the calls to the AGF were threats to spur him to influence the governorship election tribunal members to cede the election victory to PDP or risk mayhem in Borno State. The fact that Konduga was tried and convicted of terrorism acts is enough to show that the accused is also liable. This is what the government prosecution was saying, adding that it's 4 counts. Senator Ndume, who is answering a 4-count criminal charge, also terrorism charges. And all of this, 2011, 6 years later, the case was dropped for them Buhari not bringing, think about it, acting president, incompetent acting president Osimajo is a lawyer. The Buhari's prosecution, not bringing the witnesses, not bringing statements from them, and now the same case that under Jonathan's time, they could not dismiss it prima facie, was dismissed prima facie. Now, they said Ricky Tafa didn't even have to open his defense for Ndume. He didn't even have to. The same thing with Saraki's case. They didn't even have to open the defense. The case is tossed. the terror sponsors, the corrupt people who steal money, billions. Babachir, Adoke, Saraki, Emir Sanusi, let me ask you a question. Final question. If Jonathan looted money, if Dasuki looted money, who opened the vault of the central bank till 2014, the year before Jonathan left? Who was in charge of the Central Bank of Nigeria, opening the vault for them to take out money? Independent, appointed by the Senate. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. The central bank governor was Emir Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. He opened that vault. Only after Jonathan had investigated him did he start shouting about Jonathan at the end of 2014 when election reached. Before that time, he was opening the vault for Dasuki and every other looting of CBN dollars. Now, for him to be investigated as Emir of Kano, we see Dangote bring what? According to the reports in Daily Nigerian, they said Dangote helped because whenever they want to do these things, when the government wants to operate, Osinbajo went to beg that they should not investigate. I'm sorry. This is I'm so passionate about this thing. When a country deals with the rich different from when it deals with the poor, the holy books say that that's when the wrath of God will be on that country. Osinbajo did not want them to investigate Sanusi. Osinbajo, they went to beg in Kano. Whenever the government goes to beg or wants to operate, sponsor political parties. We see it in WikiLeaks, as I showed in my video on Dangote. When they move, when they want to now bribe, they now send the person who has the vault of Nigeria's cash. They stash Nigeria's cash. All the cabal, they invest in this person, Dangote. They now send him to pay Yaradua for his campaign, to sponsor Buhari's campaign. According to Daily Nigerian, allegedly, Dangote now went to pay 100 million to free Sanusi from investigation. This is how every cabal is going to be freed from investigation, terrorism, embezzlement, any kind of malpractice till 2019. If this revolution doesn't come sooner, Nigeria, make una think correctly and tell people all over about this revolution correctly. Dr. Perry Bremer, I will send those cabal on self-exile completely out. They will refund our land, our money, our assets, apologize, and flee Nigeria. Look at this. Come on.